3 Storm Shadow missiles hit a Russian military facility between the villages of Rudnevo and Cymbalova in the Oriol region on Thursday, Russian sources familiar with the situation said. On December 26th, at around 3:40 p.m., a missile strike was launched. According to sources, 2 Russian servicemen were killed in the strike, and 7 others were hospitalized with various injuries. Reportedly, a warehouse full of Shahed drones was struck. Russia offers huge benefits to those willing to join the 810th Marines Brigade and command a few North Koreans in Kursk. 3 million rubles for a sign-up. 200,000 rubles per month, 100,000 per kilometer of advancement. Superior training to Western military. Member of a assault squad, which means you will be dead before you get the money. Volchansko barbecue. 2 Russian assault infantrymen tried to hide under a damaged BMP, but border guards from the 4-post brigade quickly gave them a warm welcome. Russian forces have been struggling to counter Ukrainian FPV drones, which have become a dominant force on the battlefield. These drones, cheap and highly maneuverable, allow Ukrainian operators to strike with pinpoint accuracy from a distance, hitting tanks, vehicles, and infantry. Despite deploying electronic warfare and jamming systems, Russian defenses often fail to detect or intercept these drones in time. The Russian Investigative Committee has opened a criminal case against a U.S. citizen who entered the territory of the Kursk region as part of the Ukrainian armed forces. According to the investigation, in August, armed Ryan O'Leary illegally crossed the Russian border and entered the territory of the Kursk region. He is charged with mercenarism, committing a terrorist act, and illegally crossing the state border. The center of the village of Novo-Mikhailivka, temporarily occupied by Russians, Marinska urban community, Pokrovsky district, Donetsk region. Ruins, ashes, and scorched earth. The bastards are simply wiping Donbass off the face of the earth. A wounded Ukrainian soldier of the 79th Separate Airborne Assault Brigade is fighting near the village of Novo-Mikhailivka, Marinska urban community, Pokrovsky district, Donetsk region.
Turn closer. Almost to the end of the trench. Almost to the end of the trench. Thank you. Let's feast. Ah. Thank you. They've already gone to the end of the trench.
While captured military equipment of the Ukrainian armed forces is being driven around and shown around Russia, and Russians are looking at what a normal army should fight with, the Russian army is increasingly reminiscent not even of the Taliban and the Houthis, but of provincial bandits from the 90s. It is enough to look at this fighter in a red 9 with a sawed-off shotgun and so-called childish letters in the trunk. Victory will be ours, he says from the Kursk region, where almost half a year ago, a certain Gerasimov promised to oust the Ukrainian armed forces by evening. And let's take a comedy break. The Russian TV company 20th Century Fox presents Ukrainian recruitment employees executing a draft dodger who refuses to defend their country. The twitching deserter delivers an Oscar-worthy performance.
Ще раз, ще. Ви відказуєтесь захищати нашу країну. Так?
Я не хочу. Кончай его, блядь! Пидор, блядь!
Production at Russian refineries fell to a 12-year low due to Ukrainian drone attacks, reports the Moscow Times. By the end of 2024, oil refining at Russian oil refineries is expected to amount to 266.9 million tons, This level is the lowest since 2012, when oil refineries processed 265.4 million tons of raw materials. Throughout 2024, Russian refineries were subjected to a series of drone attacks, resulting in unscheduled equipment repairs. About 1,400 long-range missiles are currently in the Russian Federation's stockpiles, according to the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. Andriy Yusov reports that Ukrainian drones are hypothetically already capable of flying 2,000 kilometers deep into Russian territory. At the same time, he hints that any objects associated with the financing or support of the occupying army are legitimate targets.
Therefore, yes, in total reserves they have about 1,400 long-range missiles, of which about 350 are calibers, 500 are onyxes, and over 50 are daggers. More than 130 Iskanders, and actually more than 400 missiles of the class X-101, X-55, X-35. But the point is, in many positions, this is an untouchable reserve, so they of course pay great attention, planning, reconnaissance, and they do not work as indiscriminately as they did in the initial stages of the full-scale invasion. Russia is capable of producing from 40 to 50 Iskander missiles per month, at 30 to 50 calibers. As in fact, this is not new information, it has all already been published, including about 50 X-101 missiles. Once again, we emphasize that this production still critically depends, among other things, on foreign components. Therefore, the strengthening of the sanctions policy and control over compliance with this sanctions policy is undoubtedly an important component of the task that Ukraine and its partners are working on.
The number of these missiles you mentioned can unfortunately be said to be enough for the enemy to shell our territory during the winter season.
Let's not so panic or further frighten our viewers, but thinking that as of yesterday the missile potential or stockpile of the enemy is depleted. That is not the case. Therefore, severe alarm should be taken seriously, and the security and defense forces are working on repelling, including air attacks and air threats.
We see quite successfully. By the way, our percentage of shooting down Russian missiles, and especially drones, has increased, which also worries us greatly in Ukraine. Because these are strike drones, Iranian Shaheds, they have their own geranians. In principle, it's not the same mode. I would also like to hear details specifically about the production, because it is absolutely noticeable.